Way Out West says, for a 12 or 13-year-old, what's the minimum per year to fund an IUL that makes it valuable for them in the future? What's the max you can fund an IUL for someone that young? The max you can fund an IUL is going to depend on their parents, because the death benefit determines the MEC limit. With the new 7702 changes, the MEC limits are going to be a lot higher for younger people. So those are going to make more of a difference for younger people than older people, from everything that I've seen. But we can get a good design that pays out good money in old age on a kid when they've got 50, 60 years of compounding ahead of them for as little as $100 a month. 12 and 13-year-old, you could do $100 a month. It's going to look pretty good when they get older. Now, if you want a substantial amount, you might bump it up to $200 or $250. I'm currently putting in $250 or the equivalent of $250 a month on my two girls. And that's going to turn into $100,000, $200,000 potential payout every year in retirement for them, assuming the index performs as expected, or actually expect it to perform better than illustrated, but let's say as illustrated. Okay, really good potential growth, even with just $1,200 to $3,000 a year. If the parents of the kid have a very high death benefit, your kids can qualify for half of the death benefit that the parent has. So if you've got a parent that has $4 million in death benefit, a kid can get $2 million in death benefit. You might be able to pay in $10,000 a year into a policy like that. With the new MEC changes, maybe more than that. So it varies. So there's not just a max that you can fund an IUL at. It's going to depend on the MEC limit. MEC limit adjusts depending on the death benefit, their age, health, well, not the health, but their age and their gender makes a difference. So all of that plays a factor in it. Jennifer Ning, what about Nationwide IUL? I just got appointed to Nationwide. I just contracted with them. I have not had a chance to play around with their IULs. I will report back after I get a chance to play around with them. The IULs that I've been seeing from other agents are horrible from Nationwide. Massive, massive costs inside these policies. So they're not good. Like, I don't have a high opinion of Nationwide. They sell a lot. I haven't seen any good designs from it. So I decided I'm going to get contracted with them so that I can try and see how good of a design should I be seeing these policies from Nationwide look like. What can these agents be doing that they're not doing when they're designing these terrible policies with massive surrender charges? Massive surrender charges. Now, surrender charges, they only take effect if you give up the policy. But it affects your liquidity in the early years. It affects how much cash value you have. And I've seen too many Nationwide policies where people have put in tens of thousands of dollars into these policies and had no access to cash value even after 5 years. Horrible, horrible designs that I've seen in some of those policies. So, once I get on there, I just haven't had time, but I'm going to try to figure out what's the best way I can design their policies, and I'll be glad to report back to you. The reason I wanted to contract with Nationwide, besides that, is I heard they already instituted the 7702 changes. I'm always on the lookout for a way to provide more value to you folks. I know Allianz is not going to make their changes until the end of the year. That means there might be another carrier out there right now that you might want to get into that you can contribute a lot more money. Maybe that product will work better for you, at least in the short term. Now, from my regional director, he said he plugged in a bunch of numbers from a bunch of different carriers that have already instituted the 7702. Allianz still outperforms them. It's that good of a product. You know, there's a reason I'm pounding the table for the Allianz product and why it's been so attractive to me.
Hope you found value in today's video. If you'd like to find out more about IUL and whole life, check out these videos right over here, and we'll see you next time.
Now go maximize your cash flow.